Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem HaRachakodash, the double honors to our apostles and elders here at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the Lord's hopeful elect. So this week, we have some more activity from Nero in the reincarnation. His name is President Donald J. Trump. And what he spoke about, he went on air to talk about regarding what he would call the illegals being deported to El Salvador, which is in Central America. How he talked about how they need to build more prisons because they're eventually going to send the homegrowns down there. And the homegrowns being those who are or are considered citizens already, who were born in the land of Babylon, who paperwork wise they're officially considered citizens, etc. Well, he said that they need to prepare more for them as well. Said homegrowns are next. Trump hopes to deport and jail U.S. citizens abroad. Exactly. And you know, the message we've been trying to get across the Northern Kingdom, we called like the Latin tribes, which starts from Ephraim to Issachar, the so-called Puerto Ricans to the so-called Mexicans, is that your paperwork doesn't change how this devil views you, Esau Edom, right? The so-called white man. He still views you the same. The paperwork, all that is just an excuse for him to, fulfill his rage upon you. But he all looks at you the same. Just like Gad being a so-called Native American. When even now they're being gathered up by ICE, even though they have their papers proving that they are born in this land, that they're Native American, they're still getting grabbed up as well because this man doesn't care. This is all prophetic according to the scriptures, something known as Jacob's trouble, which we'll read for you. You are the descendants of Jacob. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. The Israelites today are the so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. And what we try to do is we try to extend the warning to all of Israel in the land of Babylon that just don't think just because, let's say you're Puerto Rican, you're Ephraimite, you're born in the States, you might even be a teacher here, a professor here, you might even join the military, let's say it that way. Don't think that you're any more better than your fellow comrades who, because they weren't born here, that in this society, this devil looks at you better than them. Don't believe this man when he tells you that we don't judge based off skin color, but we judge based off of your credentials, what you've done here. If you show that you paid your taxes, if you joined the military, etc. No, he's all fueled by hate and he's fueled by rage. And it has to do with nationality. It has to do with what they would call racism. If you understood the scriptures, then you would understand that everything goes back to Jacob and Esau. It goes back to the womb. This is Proverbs 26, verse 25. It says, 24, he that hateth dissembleth with his lips and layeth up deceit within him. Meaning he's going to prepare what he has to say. If he hates you, he's going to prepare what he has to say. Now, is he going to outright tell you that he hates you, he dislikes you? No, but he's going to prepare what he has to say. Okay. It says, when he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. What you got all these testimonies, even back when he was in office previously, from what our people, right, who was getting so-called deported. You have one. There was one who got deported. Now, he was a pastor. He was in the church or whatever. He even voted for Trump, but Trump got rid of him. And he goes on camera saying, I thought Trump just wanted to get rid of the bad ones. I devoted my life to the church. I paid my taxes. I thought he just wanted to get rid of the bad ones. I can't believe this happened to me, etc. And the same is happening even right now, because you stupid Northern Kingdom tribes in the land of souls of Babylon, because you look at this man as a god, because you probably are a Roman Catholic, and because you probably believe in the so-called white Jesus, a white Messiah, you believe in Virgin Mary, you look at this man as a god. So you honestly look and you listen to the things that he tells you, and you can't see what's blatantly plain in your face, that he has hatred for you. Doesn't matter your credentials. This man looks at you upon your nationality. He has hatred for you that goes back to the womb of us being in the womb of our mother, Rebecca. And we were tussling ever since in the womb. That's what it goes back to. So you can't try to sit down and, oh, let's try to understand racism. Let me just explain to you my culture, and then maybe you can help understand. No, he's fueled by hate. He understands full well who you are, and he's fueled by hate. That's why he always views us all the same as who? The so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. When they wanted to push the jab, who did they target? Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. We're all lumped in the same. So it makes no difference of how you think he views you the same. Just the same as when it comes to Southern Kingdom, the so-called Negro tribes. The same Israelites over here, they think that they have a more privileged status, so they call themselves standing against their own people. They'll say, yeah, we don't care about them illegals. And that's because Esau, even the so-called white man, has convinced them to make them believe that they're more special in their eyes than they are their own brothers. But he's coming for you too. That's a message for his Southern Kingdom too, you so-called Negroes. He's coming for you too. Don't think that these bills or whatever, this target for the Northern Kingdom, by all means exempts you. He's going to broaden, right, that parameter, and he's going to come after you too. He's going to come after all of us as pursuant to the scriptures. This was the Lord is trying to prophesy to you and warn you. You as Israel, you have a job to do. You have to repent because he's coming down with great wrath. Don't sit up here and actually bank on the things he's trying to tell you. Because first he said that he only wanted to get rid of the illegals, the ones who didn't come in right. So you'll have a bunch of Edomites who will tell you, oh, they just have to come in right. Oh, they just have to come in right. Well, even when they are on the soils of America, they still get treated like crap. They still get harassed because they're speaking their own language. They still get harassed for being on this side of the world, following the rules, and they still. So don't believe this crap. Oh, we just want you to come in the right way, and we don't look on skin color. We just look on your credentials. BS, because people in the military, all these people still get treated. All our people still get treated like second-class citizens in the soils of Babylon, even if you follow this man's rules to the T. Our people still get blown away, traffic stops, even though because hate, right? Perceived. You could say perception that our people are violent, that we're dangerous. So when they pull us over, they already got the guns drawn, ready to blow you away. Doesn't matter if you legally carry. Doesn't matter if you follow this man's rules to the T. You are still considered as second-class citizens in the souls of Babylon. That's why it's called the curses. You know, our people, wait a minute, I do all these things. I followed your rules. I'm carrying legally all these things. Yeah, well, it's what rules for thee and not for me, so to speak. Yeah, we got the rules out there, but that don't mean we're going to change the way we view you at any time. You know, they got videos on that. You got videos of Edomites walking around literally down the street with full-on assault rifles. And they'll approach him and deal with him carefully. Carefully, and I mean softly. Hey, man, you doing all right? Okay, you know, but then the so-called black man walks down the street with just his holster where you could see his firearm, legally carrying, etc. They all jump on him, showing you that it's not about the rules or the laws. It's still perception. You are an Israelite, therefore there's a target on your back. Proverbs 25, verse 25. I'm sorry, 26, 25. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Oh, we just want to get rid of the bad ones. Just the ones who are criminals. Just the illegals. First it was just that. Now he says what? The homegrowns. And guess what he's saying? Oh, it's just the illegal. I mean, just the criminals. We're just trying to get rid of the criminals. Just the bad ones. Well, first it was just those who weren't over here officially. Now it's those who are over here officially, but just the criminals. No, he's going to expand that. And he's going to target all of you as an excuse. That's what it's all about. And that is going to eventually include the Southern Kingdom, so-called Negroes. Don't think he's just, oh, well, it ain't got nothing to do with me. No, it's coming for you too. Verse 26, whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation. So when the wicked wants to set a snare for you, he first framing his lips to lie to you. And when he speaketh fair, believe him not. Oh, it's just the criminals. We just want to get rid of the bad people. It's just the bads. It's just the people who are a problem or problematic, etc. Yeah, right. Don't believe him. He's coming for Israel. He's coming with great wrath because you have to understand the source of his wrath. The source of his wrath goes back to Genesis. The blessing. He gave up his blessing to his forefathers. He gave up his blessing to Jacob, which the Lord had to set up that way. And Isaac blessed Jacob and promised Jacob the kingdom of heaven, which is us. Ever since, Esau has had perpetual hatred against his brother because of that. That's where the racism stems from. The book of Jeremiah 30, verse 6. Ask ye now, and see whether a man do travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness? This is prophetic for the time of the evils that we're coming in. It's going to be so bad that you're going to see men walking around wailing as if they're women with child. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Jacob's trouble, you so-called Negro, Latino, Native American. Why is it your trouble? Because the devil is coming down with great wrath. Would you like to know why? I'll tell you why. Because our Lord Yahushua, that's his true name. His name is not Jesus. He has a Hebrew name. That Hebrew name is Yahushua. Him and Joshua had the same name. The word Joshua in the Hebrew is Yahushua. He's a so-called black man. He's from the tribe of Judah. All right, a lot of you northern kingdoms, you're all what? For the most part, Roman Catholics. And you also believe in Virgin Mary. You believe in this man. You look at him as a god. Those are lies. And a lot of you have a problem with the fact of accepting that the Messiah, Yahushua, came from the line of Judah, which makes him a so-called black man. A lot of you have a problem with that because of, the curses and the infighting. You'll much rather say, nah, I'd rather worship, Jesus, who's a so-called white man, than to worship Yahushua just simply because he's a so-called black man, which is your brother, your big brother, your savior, just like he is for all of us, but because of that hatred. All the while, this white man is coming to put his foot up your ass, and he's showing you nothing but hate. Period. He's showing you nothing but hate. Psalms 37, verse 12. It says, the wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. Why? Yeah, exactly. So it goes to the point. Why is he coming down with wrath? Because he knows his day is coming. The day of judgment is coming for him. The day where he's going to be put down, and the kingdom of heaven, which is going to be established on the earth, is established forever. He knows where his place is in the kingdom of heaven. His place in the kingdom of heaven is slavery, because that's what the blessing of Isaac gave Jacob. He made Jacob his ruler, and he made Esau Edom his servant, as he told Esau in Genesis 27, verse 37. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him, his brother, thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, O my son? He already told Esau, you and all his brethren is going to serve your brother Jacob. They already gave it to him. It's the kingdom of heaven promised. So this man knows that his time is up. It all goes back to the blessings. Because our blessing was the kingdom of heaven. We are about to inherit that. His blessing was temporary, which is now. His blessing was a momentary kingdom, which is America, that he ruled by the sword. But because of the nature of this man, because he's Cain, he's a sore loser, his attitude is, what? If my brother Abel's works are righteous and mine's not, what am I going to do? I'm going to slay him. So he's saying Isaac accepted Jacob over, I guess I could have just finished that. So what's that attitude? I'm going to slay him. That's Genesis 27, Verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. That's where that hatred stems from. The source of the racism, as you people don't understand. You're looking at them, and you're trying to see, why do y'all hate us so much? What do you have against us? You don't understand what they're fueled by. They're fueled by rage and hate, because they look at you and they know that you're the children of the Lord. They know it. That's why they can't stand you. And it's not just them, it's the other nations as well. The heathen nations, the so-called Chinese, the so-called Africans, the so-called Arabs. Why do you think we get singled out over here in the land of Babylon? Because they know that we are, you could say, trust fund babies. We were given the spirit and the understanding, and we represent Yahweh Shai and our Father on the earth. They know that. But instead of them sustaining us and dealing with us accordingly so that they may be blessed, since they have the upper hand, they're going to maintain that upper hand. That's Esau, Edom, particularly the so-called white man. That's why they can have everything they could ever want. They could live the rest of their life, right, in milk and honey, but they're still not satisfied. Why? Because they know that it's all temporal and they want it forever. So they're going to use their weaponry, their strength, right, which is deception and the sword. And they're going to use it to get their way that they want to establish forever. What's going on over there in the land of Israel right now, that war with the Palestinians, that's rage, that's hate. That's them trying to steal back the land, steal back the birthright, because it was never theirs anyway. They're trying to take it by force because they have deception and they have the swords. They're going to use it just like in the souls of a Babylon the Great. They want to put you all in slavery via microchip, which is the mark of the beast. And they want everybody in captivity, concentration camps, Agenda 21, the whole shebang. And that includes concentration camps. That includes the guillotines. That includes complete lockdowns. And that includes digital slavery, which goes into the mark of the beast. This is what they want to establish, as the book of Revelation chapter 12 and 13 and so on explains. And you, as Jacob, you're in trouble, because in his sight, he knows that he has to persecute you out of rage. So in the midst of all this evil, he's going to single you out. That's why the Lord calls us to repentance, so that the elect may be protected. But you got to understand the source of his rage. Otherwise, you're just out here lost. Revelation 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. The devil, the wicked, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, as well as the so-called Jewish man. And the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth. And when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman that brought forth the man-child. Talking about Israel. The man-child being Yahweh Shai from the loins of Judah, so-called black man. And to whom the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and a half a time from the face of the serpent. And this is talking about us flying into the wilderness, which was Africa, for protection from fleeing Roman persecution during 70 AD. And then it's talking about us going into America. That's why it says that she might fly into the wilderness, Africa, into her place, which that leads into America, where she is nourished for a time and times, a half a time from the face of the serpent. It said also up here in verse 5, and she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with the rod of iron, and her child was caught up into the Most High, into his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of the Most High, that they should feed her there 1,260 days, which is talking about us first going into Africa and then America. 1,260 days, which is also talked about in the Revelation, the 11th chapter. It's referring to just that, 1,260 days, also translated to 350 years. From the time we went into slavery up until the time we were free, we had to be, you could say, taken care of. And we also were prophesying. So we had to fulfill prophecy of bearing the hatred and anger of the Lord by going through slavery, having yokes of iron brought upon our necks, having our families divided, having your sons and daughters be shipped off across the world to serve slavery, or other parts of America to serve slavery, how we would build houses and not dwell therein. All those things that's spoke about in the scriptures, we went through that when we were in slavery, and that's us prophesying, as Revelation 11 goes into. So back in verse 15, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that she might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And in other scriptures, it tell you that flood just represents the influx of armies, besieging. It's rage, right? It says, and the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. Right? Because even when we fled the Roman persecution, they fled. They came in with the soldiers, the armies, but we fled, and the earth helped us, meaning we were able to flee into Egypt and hide there, which is exactly what Yahushua and his father Joseph did to flee the wrath of Herod. What do? We fled into Egypt to hide, because the Egyptians, which are the Hamites, right, those Africans over there, we could dwell amongst them to hide. And that's what we did. We had a practice for doing that. And we did the same thing when we fled Roman persecution. 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which kept the commandments of Yahweh and have the testimony of Yahushua Mashiach. And that's how you know that this part's talking about now. That wrath that he has still there. Is still there. And he's going to make war, and that's going into Jacob's trouble, the remnant of her seed, the believers. Right? It talks about in Genesis chapter 3, verse 14, and the Lord Yahweh said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly thou shalt go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between the woman and the enmity between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Now, a woman obviously doesn't have seed. She carries seed, but the seed is referring to is the chosen, aka which went to Abraham, Isaac, then Jacob. The seed, the serpent, is the son of the wicked, which came back as Esau, Edom. So it all boils down to Jacob and Esau. That war and that with the remnant of the seed is talking about the seed of the wicked, Esau, Edom, at war with the seed of the righteous, those who keep the commandments and magnify his name, which is Yahushua, right? And the elect. That's why it says insurrection upon the believers. 2 Ezra 16. Verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, and still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. So that rage is still in him, and he's going to cause an insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. That's why I said in Revelation 12 again, and the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, the believers, which keep the commandments of Yahweh and have the testimony of Yahushua Mashiach. That's Jacob's trouble. That's coming soon, near you. This the whole to, we just want to get the illegals. That's now extending to all. Well, put it this way. They're saying just the illegals, but now he's extending it to both legals who are just quote unquote criminals. But what we're telling you is that that's going to extend to all. Don't believe that crap about just criminal. It's going to extend to all. So it's going to be justification for gathering up Gad, the Native Americans. It's going to be justification for gathering up Northern Kingdom, just to persecute you. And then it's going to extend to Southern Kingdom, the so-called Negroes as well. And then eventually it's going to come the chip. You heard brother share this, right? But notice during this trade war, Trump exempts, it says what? Trump exempts phones, computers, chips from new tariffs. So guess what's exempt out of all of this? Those chips. Why is that? Because his excuse is what? What did he say here? He says the White House said on Saturday the exemptions were made because Trump's want to ensure that companies have time to move production to the U.S. So he doesn't care. What about being able to buy food? Did he care about? He wants to help people buy food. He got 100% tariffs. That's going to affect people's food. So he clearly doesn't care about people buying food. But he just wants to make sure the companies can have time to switch over. No, he needs those chips to keep developing, because the ultimate end goal is to bring those microchip. Don't you see? It's all lining up perfectly. All lining up perfectly. Like the brother said, out of all these tariffs, here it is, groceries about to be high. Everything else that we buy is about to be high. But when it comes to those chips, that's exempt. Like brother said, gee, I wonder why. Hey, with that show.